Hello everyone, and welcome to your second royal reading of today, a Tuesday. It is Mandela Day, and so a bit late. We've been singing Mandela songs and thinking back to last year. This time last year, the Parkles were in New York. Harry was addressing the United Nations. All two people who bothered to show up. I'm exaggerating slightly. He looked very sour. The claw was trying to claw him and he kept pushing it away. It wasn't their finest hour, and it was when things started to really deteriorate for them as a brand. It was really quite humiliating, quite embarrassing. They got a lot of negative attention for that little stunt in New York. So that was a year ago. A whole lot has happened since then. And here we are today, and having a look at a story that has popped up on Radar Online. Not a usual Parkle place. Certainly not a place that Megan normally plants her stories, allegedly. And this is quite an interesting story because it says that the Parkles are spending time apart after royal family feud took a toll on their marriage. They're trying to figure out what hit them, or what hit them is karma, in my opinion. It goes on to say, though, that Harry doesn't fit in Meghan's tacky tinseltown world. He needs to find himself. He is planning a solo trip to Africa to film a documentary. That's the one for Netflix. The wife will not be present, will not be going with him to Africa, allegedly. They are truly on divergent paths. Interesting story, because it sounds a bit as if Harry has got fed up with all the blame it on Harry stories that have been coming out from Meghan's camp, allegedly, that it's all his fault and she warned him and she's distancing herself from his toxicity and all. She's the one with the big earning potential, and she's the one with the big new talent agency and all the deals lined up, and she's the one with a huge earning potential, and he's the useless toxic loser. But now we're getting that she's the one, the tacky Tinseltown world, and he's off to Africa to film a documentary for Netflix without her. So is this a Harry clapback? Where is this story coming from? I want to know. Does Netflix want this documentary? Because it seems like they really don't. And is Harry dead keen on filming it? Is this something he wants to do? Or is he just disappearing off to Africa? Because where else can he go? And then I'm going to ask about Meghan, because there was a rumour in Neil Sean's story that Harry was desperate for her to go to Africa with him. He needed her there. So does he want her to go to Africa? It doesn't sound like it from this story. And does she want to go to Africa? And then outcomes of the documentary. Are we going to see an Africa documentary? And outcome for marriage. So 9-card reading. I'll explain it as I go. The documentary, of course, is in trouble from the off, whether Netflix wants it or not, because ongoing writer's strike in Hollywood and now an actor's strike. So their deal expires in 2025, the Netflix deal. Ooh, and a card just went off there. And so not much time to find talent, not much time to get scripts written, not much time to get all of this done before 2025 rolls around and it's all over. I now have to climb under the table. And I'm back from my adventure under the table, and I found the 8 of Wands there in the Page of Wands under the table, which are interesting cards to have gone walkabout and set off on an adventure, because the Page of Wands does travel, and 8 of Wands is documentaries and films and things like that. Can be. Shuffle them back in and get on with the 9-card reading. And of course, it's just tarot for fun and entertainment, or speculation, or my opinion. I read energy, archetypal energy, disclaimer in the box below. You know the drill. It's all down there for you to read, form your own opinions, figure out yourselves what's going on. But let's see what... Oh, I forgot to tell you. It's the Lunar Soul Tarot. I think I forgot to tell you anyway. Lunar Soul Tarot. What does the Lunar Soul Tarot want to tell us about this interesting story in Radar Online? Is it coming from Harry to clap back? Where's it coming from? What's going on with the docky? Does Netflix want it? Does Harry want to make it? And does he want Meghan there? Does she want to be there? Outcome for the docky and outcome for the marriage. That's what we're looking at. We've got the Four of Discs as our underlying energy. It's security. It's hanging on to stuff, and I would say hanging on to a couple of things here. Hanging on to the Netflix deal, first of all, with that Four of Pentacles. It's all they've got left. Apparently there was trouble around I won't say new part 2 of Spare, but the paperback is out. You can buy some paperback, I checked. But the sort of update of it, new chapters and things like that, there is some trouble around that. So Penguin Random House are not exactly fans at the moment, allegedly. But we've got Four of Discs here. Need to hang on to this money, need to hang on to this deal, need to do something. It's such an interesting depiction of the Four of Pentacles. I would like to go through that door or something, or close the door, open the door, but I can't, because if I try and get out, I've got to drop those pentacles. So I have a predicament, and that's a very, very, very nice depiction of the Four of Pentacles. Very interesting, because it's quite an odd card to read that tells me predicament, that someone is in, want to leave, but if I leave, I've got to drop those pentacles. Don't want to. So what's the energy? What's the situation? What's the heart of this reading? What are we dealing with? We're dealing with money and new ventures. We're dealing with a whole new adventure, a financial one. Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Discs, off on an adventure. A secure new start, and that would be off to Africa, off to make his own documentary without her. To earn big bucks, and look at me, I can do this, and I can do tons more after I've done this one. And it's just lovely. So much more secure for him, and doesn't have to do the whole tacky tinseltown thing, of course. Is this a Harry Clapback story? Is this what the purpose of it is? What's the intention of this thing? Is it to push back at Madame? It's a Three of Pentacles. There is a team involved here that is potentially trying to big him up. There he is. Interestingly, he's got some rather less than inspiring people around him, but there he is, our Ginger Winger with a beard, and off he goes. So I think it's quite a serious intent. It's a declaration of intent. Really, I want to make this documentary. I've got my team around me who are darker. I've got my team. Off I go in my shorts and my vest, off to Africa to make my documentary with this ramshackle team. And I'm not being malicious here about the people, but they don't exactly inspire confidence. If you're going to pull a team together to make a documentary for Netflix, doesn't compel that little team. So it's not clapping back in a positive way. I'm busy, I'm doing stuff, I'm getting organized. Netflix, trust me, give me the money. So that's what seems to be going on there. Who is the source of this story? Where is it coming from? Because it does seem to be building him up and knocking her down at the same time. We've got Six of Pentacles in reverse. The Six of Pentacles is somebody who feels that it's the same three. There they are, literally. The same three hands. It's charity. It could be coming from someone who's involved in one of the charitable foundations that Harry's involved with in Africa. There are a couple. There's African Parks and Centre Bali. Just off the top of my head, there might be others. But it's Six of Pentacles is literally the charity card. So to do with that, it's not coming from royal family. It's not coming from Harry directly himself. It's not coming from Meghan, but it's coming from people who are involved in charities, who are possibly being used as conduits for this information, to send this information out. The same team, as I say, and again, I would say it's not the most inspiring team, but it's the team that he has managed to scrape together for himself. So this is definitely Team Harry, whoever Team Harry is. This is Team Harry sending out the message that he's busy, he's on his way to have his new Ace of Discs adventure. Does Netflix want this documentary, this Africa thing? Very vague. We haven't really nailed down what it's going to be about. It was building houses and teaching women how to give birth, as if women in Africa don't know how to give birth, and as if Meghan Markle does. But does Netflix want this documentary? Seven of Cups, nah. No thanks. upright. It's possibilities and imagination and dreams and visions and speculation and all that stuff. It's Neptune. Neptune rules film. It's in reverse. It's it's not realistic. It's not going to fly. It's just pie in the sky, and we don't want it. Come to us with a script. Come to us with a concept. Come to us with some sort of tangible idea, and maybe, but it's not even that. But this is no. Does Harry desperately want to make a documentary in Africa, or does he just want to disappear to Africa and forget about what went on in California? He wants to be there in his happy place. It's his happy place. I'm not getting work. I'm not getting film. I'm not getting busy. I'm not getting collaborating. Wants to be in a happy place. Africa is his happy place. There they all are. I chose the Lunar Soul Tarot for a very particular reason, because it is very modern, multicultural, among other things. It does show Africa in some of the cards, quite literally. But there we've got, he feels comfortable there. They're his people. Of course, Africa, a vast continent with many different peoples. But never mind that, all in one lump. There they are, 10 of Cups. It's his happy place. He wants to go to his happy place. Those 2 escape rooms, panic rooms, I call them, in Montecito and LA, alleged escape rooms, panic rooms, aren't good enough now, because need time apart, need to put whole continents and oceans between them, and so that's Africa. Now, let's move on to Meghan. Does Harry want Meghan there by his side, as we heard from Neil Sean a few days ago? Or does he want her to stay far, far away in Montecito? 7 of Swords in reverse. I would say stay far, far away in Montecito. 7 of Swords is sneaking away, is exiting, is doing something dodge. Sneaky, ghosting, disappearing in the night, which is what they did. They ran away. They were cowardly, in my opinion, but also in the energy of the card that I'm reading. They did their disappearing act. But it's in reverse, and that's now you see through what the person is about and what their behavior is about. And you don't want to be party to that behavior anymore. So I think he doesn't want to be around that toxic behavior anymore. Whatever it involves in Tinseltown, tacky Tinseltown world. Doesn't want to be there with her. There with that energy. Does she want to go to Africa? Is this something she is desperate to do? Begging him, packing her suitcase already? No, we got the Queen of Swords in reverse. Oh no. Nope. Absolutely not. This is a hard no. This is a very cruel, absolutely not, I think, cold silence. If he ever mentions it, she just doesn't even acknowledge it, turns her back on him. Doesn't answer if it's emails and WhatsApps and things like that. Possibly even abusive, if not completely silent and ignoring, cold, I see ignoring kind of energy, then it will be quite critical, vicious retorts about what on earth can they possibly accomplish there. Does she really expect, or does he really expect her to be in Africa? Where would backward be? How would she merch giant, what did they call it? Ludicrously capacious totes in Africa. So it doesn't look as if that's going to work out. So outcome, first of all, for the Africa documentary. Are we going to see it on our screens? Is this going to actually be a success? Is it going to happen? No. 3 of Swords. That's the end of the Netflix deal. There's the 3 of them. There's Meghan, Harry, and Netflix. Excuse me. And that heart is broken. They've separated. They've shattered. They've all gone off in their different directions. So it's not going to happen. The Netflix deal is all over bar the shouting. And if they ride out, if this strike or these strikes buys Netflix time. They don't really have to say, well, it's cancelled, it's pointless, but they just have to let the time tick over, tick down, and then no deal. There is no deal. Harry's little heart might be broken, thinking that he was going to be Mr. Executive Producer, and he'd got this wonderful team together from his charities and things like that, and off he was going to go. And in his new adventure, Ace of Pentacles, and make tons of money and prove his worth. No, heartbroken. So there it is. How about the marriage? What does this mean for the marriage? That they're taking time off from each other, and he's going off to Africa and doesn't want her around, and he clearly doesn't want her around, and she just as clearly doesn't want to be around, according to my interpretation of the cards. Marriage. What does this mean for the marriage? It means it's over. Four of Swords, what a surprise. But it's over behind closed doors. Because the Four of Swords is a slinking away energy. Retreating, it's disappearing like an animal does when it's ill or wounded, and it goes into hiding, it crawls under a bush or into a cave or something, and tries to heal. And so this is what is going on. The marriage is over. But we don't know. Well, we do know because we do tarot, and tarot tells us very clearly, but we're not going to see it yet. We got to this is going to drag on a bit longer. And he's hung up his skateboard. He's very sad. He's very skateboard looking swords there. He's very sorry for himself, where he begun. In a dark place. This is Harry's energy, it's not Meghan's energy. He is off to lick his wounds, off to the place, the only place where he feels he's welcome, where he feels equal to other people, where he feels he can be happy, relaxed, loved in the bosom of family. It's pretty pathetic. All his own fault, in my opinion. And yeah, if you want to walk through that door, going to have to drop those pentacles. That is your reading. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.